Peace and love. It's Funky Friday, baby. Welcome to the Peace of the Morning Show. This is Darius A. Stanton with DJ 5 Star. Hey, it's Funky Friday. I'm so glad that we're able to be here another week, another day, another year, 2022. Now, what you're going to do, that's our focus today, 2022. What are you going to do with your mental health in 2022? Today, we'll be joined by Dr. Paul Dyer. The brother is dynamic. He's awesome. His resume is just incredible. I mean, I'm going to send you to his chat, and you can look at his resume and you'll learn a whole lot about him. But it's Funky Friday, so we got to funk it up. We want to thank y'all for being with us. Thank you for your support, for your love, your energy, your prayers, and all the good vibrations that you send us on the Peace in the Morning Show. So check it out this morning. We have a special by Messiah Ramkisoon. That's right, our brother Messiah Ramkisoon, who has a phenomenal piece, Eye of Freedom. Yeah, you want to go check it out on all social media platforms and pick it up today. But right now, we're going to share the Black Father. That's right, the Black Father. And what that means as we get into your mental health for 2022. What are you going to do with your mental health in 2022? And here we are with Messiah Ramkisoon's Black Father on the Peace in the Morning Show.
No need for fame, Black fathers are legendary. Watching He Got Game, coming from the hood, often misunderstood, but still, Black fathers are necessary. Fighting the penitentiary as well as the cemetery. Only right I wrote a song made for my brothers. And whether or not you get along with your baby mothers, our babies love us, our babies need us. He just might be that Black father, the baby Jesus. More precious than a stone from Sierra Leone. That's a child of a Black father, the heir to the throne. Before mine and the diamond in the dirt don't come out shining, they come out muddy. Babies born bloody before the huggies and onesies. Birth from the Black essence, so it's a natural for a Black father to lack presence. There to provide lessons when babies ask questions. To guide them through imperfections, doubts and transgressions. To teach a foreign language about their ancestors. To read body language, face and hand gestures. To love their body image, hear strand textures. Learning instruments, jam sessions and band lessons. Car seat buckle ups, teaching them boxing and uppercuts. More than manhood than muscle ups and busting nuts. More than childhood than Donald Duck and Double Dutch. Nothing can replace a father's love and mother's touch. No need for fame, Black fathers are legendary. Watching He Got Game, coming from the hood, often misunderstood, but still, Black fathers are necessary. Fighting the penitentiary as well as the cemetery. Only right I wrote a song made for my brothers. And whether or not you get along with your baby mothers, our babies love us, our babies need us. He just might be that Black father, the baby Jesus. To mothers who stand in the way of fathers and their children, then go sin, he left them abandoned like a building that's tore up from the floor to the ceiling. Pain peeling, I ain't feeling women who find joy stealing the joy of a father, not letting his boy see him, or the joy of his daughter, whose dad is a loyal supporter based on a court order. Filthy, you need Florida water and a bush bath. You despise his eyes, despise his mustache. Shout out to the fathers walking the good walk, good path. Every child need a father for a good talk, good laugh. Why make a good dad look bad for a child support check? If he absent with welfare at your doorstep, had him locked, ain't feel remorse yet. Poor sweat, nightmares like a war vet. A karma catching you slipping, floor sweat. Do your mom's babysit? Sadly, a nanny can't replace a daddy's place in the family. No need for fame, Black fathers are legendary. Watching He Got Game, coming from the hood, often misunderstood, but still, Black fathers are necessary. Fighting the penitentiary as well as the cemetery. Only right I wrote a song made for my brothers. And whether or not you get along with your baby mothers, our babies love us, our babies need us. He just might be that Black father, the baby Jesus. Black fathers are legendary, let's call names. LeBron James, not cause he called plays to win ball games, or can take it to the hole or shoot long range, because he take care of home beyond just suits and ball mains. Robert Nesta Marley, you can never discredit. Died young but left a legacy his children inherit. With them in spirit, El Hajj Malik, MLK. He create fear how a Black father could be here now, dead next day. Bow heads, let's pray for the fathers turned martyrs. George Washington, Carvers and Marcus. Black soil covers the carcass. Black fathers never die. They multiply like the square root to pi. Same rules apply if you shoot shine or wear suit and tie. The line of work don't define the worth of you and I. Never saw my pops work for another man. A mentality I don't expect this world to understand. No need for fame, black fathers are legendary. Watching he got game coming from the hood, often misunderstood, but still, black fathers are necessary. Fighting the penitentiary as well as the cemetery. Only right I wrote a song made for my brothers. And whether or not you get along with your baby mothers, our babies love us, our babies need us. He just might be that black father, the baby Jesus.
That was Messiah Ramkisoon. Black fathers. Hey, check it out. Make sure you go to Eye of Freedom and pick up the brother's piece because it's powerful. As you can see, he's focused. He's locked in on taking us to another level. Eye of Freedom, Messiah Ramkisoon. Go check him out. He's a beautiful brother. He's my brother. He's your brother. And he's out here putting music out there. What's up, David Grogan? A definitely powerful impact for black father running for sheriff in Prince George's County. Much success to you, King. Definitely a good father supporting his baby girl. Also, my brother Frank Malone in the house. That's right, Frank Malone. We got to give him his props. Thank you so much for being so beautiful and leading black fathers. We're going to definitely bring Frank Malone, a commissioner in the District of Columbia on fatherhood and a host of other places. Just a real serious brother. We're going to talk about fatherhood. We have a piece coming up in February focused on black fathers. But mental health, what are you going to do in 2022 with your mental health? And today we have with us none other than the good brother, Dr. Paul Dyer. Make sure you let us know what you're going to do in the chat for your mental health in 2022. Put it in the chat. And you want to make sure that you are around for Dr. Dyer. Before I bring Dr. Dyer, I got my brother DJ 5-Star that's about to join us and crank it up. And, we're going to bring Dr. Dyer on. He's out in the woods, breathing and getting his energy in. And we want to make sure that stays strong. Hey, I see the brother Tabiti Boone, in the chat. Yo, man, hey, we need you, brother. Appreciate the work you out there doing. Thank you so much. So look, we're going to get into it. 5-Star, my brother, live all the way from the Peace of the Morning Show. It's Funky Friday, and it's not funky without 5-Star. What's up, DJ? 5-Star, star. There you
my audio on there. Got the audio.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, coming to the stage. Dr. Dyer's in the woods, so when you see him, you're going to check out the whole set that the brother's bringing. Make sure you push it around because we need to get our mental health together. We got to get it together. We got to take it to the next level. So it's 2022. What are you going to do with mental health? Well, we come right back. Myself, DJ 5-Star, and I'll be introducing with this thorough resume. When I say thorough, I mean thorough resume for Dr. Paul Dyer, right forward on the Peace. All right. There he is, the main man. What's up, the general?
There you go. Peace in the morning.
You know it. Hey, man, we got a lot of exciting things for you, so make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you share the show so that people can get tuned in to what to do for mental health in 2022. And the question that we need you to put in the chat is, what are you going to do for your health, your mental health in 2022? What's going to make you feel good on the inside, on the outside, but most importantly, here, guiding all them thoughts and prayers in 2022. So 5, man, look, we're going to crank it up. We got a real deep brother coming on this morning, man. This Dr. Paul Dyer he is fire, gonna be on fire. He's a radio host on iHeartRadio and a number of other platforms, Facebook, YouTube. You can reach him and catch him. Bridges with Dr. Paul W. Dyer. I think he has about 5 different shows. Dr. Paul Dyer has been teaching and training individuals in performance on mental health, emotional, and physical advancement. Dr. Dyer has worked with top tier businesses and professionals, Olympic athletes, potentials. In addition to that, the brother has served, oh my gosh, he holds 4 PhDs. Did you hear what I said? The brother holds 4 PhDs, 3 master's degrees, and a master's certification in neuroscience, neuroanatomy, stress management, psychology, applied psychology, neurolinguistics programming. And last but not least, if you think that the brother's smart and won't give you some run for your money, he's a grandmaster of martial arts. Yeah, Dr. Paul Dyer is also a Hall of Fame inductee in several national and international martial arts Hall of Fame. Served 15 years in the armed forces, and I could go on and on because he's a professor, an ambassador of a number of different entities and organizations, an award winner in so many different fields. Brother, it is such a pleasure to have you on the show. You know, from one king to another, brightness is our shine, lightness is our star. And ladies and gentlemen, now you get a chance to meet the one and only Dr. Paul Dyer.
Hey, what's up, brother Darius?
Man, hey man, ladies and gentlemen, come on, give us a lot. You got to give the brother a lot of love. You know, y'all. I know y'all not able to jump on screen, but clap your hands, put up the stars, put up the hearts. The brother has how many doctor degrees do you have, Dr. Paul?
Four.
And how many master's degrees?
Three.
And a host of master certificates. Do you understand that the brother is brilliant
Genius.
beyond? What is he? What is he? 5?
Genius.
It's more curious than genius. That's what it is. It's the curiosity of human development. You got to remember, as a black man, we have been pushed on and pushed out. So you got to ask yourself why. Ask yourself the reasons why. When we get into troubles, when we get into situations and scenarios, right? We always look for an answer. Stop looking for answers. Look for the question. Look for a question, because if you always look for answers, what happens is mentally you're going to search for an answer that's only going to give you your own personal beliefs. That doesn't give you the right outcome, but it gives you it nullifies what you call other options and hypotheses. Look at things as asking, why would they do that to me? And why am I doing that to myself? That's the question. You know, if we're going into troubles and we keep hitting these walls and keep hitting these circle loops over and over again, that's what you call neurotransmitters firing, but it's going chemically inducing the sickness in your body. You're creating a sickness and a void without, because you keep looking for answers. You keep looking for these, digging for pots of gold. Stop looking for gold outside of your life and look for gold within your life.
Wow. Hey, the brother said he's the source. You know, we talk about that all the time, Dr. Paul. That people have the memes and the other things that they do talking about chasing the bag. And so what we often remind people is that you are the source. Now definitely money is an energy and it's a resource, but it's not the source. You are the source. And so we don't have to look outside. We got to look within. I'm really excited about, having you on, Dr. Paul, because right now we've been dealing with just an awful lot. When you think about, right now in America and throughout the world, the amount of illness and sickness, the amount of violence, the media campaign, in and around COVID-19, when you look at versus our other health issues, you think about the fact that we are living still in a significant amount of poverty throughout the world. The wealth is controlled by a very small percentage, and the rest of the folks are basically playing into a game, financially. When you think about the violence that's taking place in our homes through domestic violence, when you think about alcohol and its impact on our bodies, on our minds, on our ability to take care of our homes and our families, when you think about the 50% of homicides, 50% of domestic violence, and 50% of sexual assaults are tied to alcohol, which is one of the reasons why I've been on a 100-day alcohol fast. We'll be coming off that fast, I believe, February 22nd. Will be 100 days without any alcohol. I don't know if I'll ever go back and have another drink again in life, because I just understand the devastation that it provides to our community. And I could go on with the stresses.
But I wanna add on to your alcohol point, and this is very significant. We always knew that alcohol or liquor stores were in the black communities more than anything, right? And I'm 54, and the check cashing and taking your checks to the liquor store, literally back in the New York days, is what people used to do, and cash your check and buy a bottle. Here's what I want you to see, and here's ask the reason why is alcohol tied to the liver, right? We know the cirrhosis of the liver if you drink too much. Here's what the liver does. The liver actually has a chemical compound that's in the frontal lobe, right? That is the connection to the vagus nerve. Now, if you are drinking, you do not have what you call conceptual thought, right? If you drink too much, you lose what you call conceptual thought. That means you cannot deduct reasoning skills when you are drinking, and if you drink, we call an excess. Now, there's healthy elements to red wines and things like that. We're not talking about we're talking about the excessive drinking. And what's excessive drinking? More than 3 times a week. That is considered excessive drinking. Also, the black body, the black genome, it's not fit to hold alcohol. Just like the Indians' genome, because we come from the natures of earth. Our bodies are built from the sun. Alcohol hurts the magnitude of what you get, the vitamin D from the sun. If we're children of the sun, you're hurting the connection you have with either Mother Earth just by drinking alcohol, just because of the chemical compound that goes to the liver, which cuts off your frontal lobe thinking and your conceptual thought.
Um, there are a few things, I always tell people that when you come to the Peace in the Morning show, you need to bring your notepad. And, I'm hosting the show and I have mine, right? So I want you to understand this is, it's Funky Friday and the music is going to jump and it's always going to pump, but this is not a game. Dr. Paul, the first thing you said when you came on the show this morning, we're joined by Dr. Paul Dyer. Um, and he has, so many titles. I will just lead with the title of brother, and the other
Mm-hmm.
one is the the curious one. The brother has 4 doctorate degrees, and he said he got them because he was curious. But he wants us to ask key questions. And I want you to understand the significance of training your children, training your family, training your coworkers. Five Star and I had a meeting yesterday with a company that we just started doing business with, the National Association of College Activities. And,
Mm.
the brother had us, and Dr. Paul, we want to bring you into the loop. We need you on our please, we want to have you on our Be Bold for Good team.
Be bold for good.
There you go. Because we want to be able to help people understand the value of asking key questions. And so get your pad out, ask key questions, put your key questions in the chat, because it's an opportunity for us to be able to get in front of somebody whom is dynamic and has a lot of information. But the other thing that Dr. Paul said, that I think is very key, is he wants you to think about not only what's transpiring, but what is the action behind what's transpiring. He wants you to do more than just go to CV, CNN, or CBS or iHeartRadio. He wants you to look behind all of that. Dr. Paul, um, tell us again and share this show, please. Get this information out to our community. We are focused on making sure that our community is thriving, and alive.
And alive. Not
Free.
surviving, thriving and alive.
That's right. Thriving and alive. And so, Dr. Paul, again, tell us again why it's so significant to go beyond just your traditional sources and the importance of research. And even more importantly, why we need to be training our children and our colleagues to continue to learn. In America, unfortunately, we have this big egotistical problem where we think we should only learn the American and English language. Duh, that's stupid. You should, you should only care about what happens to our resources in America. That's stupid. We should only be focused on our safety and our food security, which we're not even food secure in the United States of America. But we have all of these ego-driven thoughts, and one of them is after I get my degree, I don't need to go back. After I get my big house, I don't need to go back. After I get whatever material things are, I don't need to keep learning. Talk to us about the and I'm with a real learned brother, DJ Five Star. The brother has a electrical engineering degree from Morgan State University, and also a master's in business administration. You understand? These brothers they're bright, they're brilliant. Dr. Paul, why is that important, man, for us to continue to learn and do research?
When you open up, okay, let me go to the simple thing is when you open up yourself to avenues of concepts and thoughts, not your thoughts, but the thought. What happens is that you take in an energetic field that now resonates. Now cellular. I'm not going to get too deep into cellular biology, but cellular, your body vibrates on energy, right? So when you open up your things to energy, now some people may be thinking, well, what's the difference between bad energy and good energy? Here's the thing. When you are filtering yourself between what you want to hear and what you think you need to hear, that's negative charge. I'll say that again. If you're only going to listen to what you want to hear and what you think you need to hear, you are creating the negative charge. All things
So hold
coming
on, Dr.
in.
Paul. So Dr. Paul, A5, we're gonna have to work this like church. You know how A5, we're going to church this morning, okay? So I just want y'all to get prepared. This show is gonna be a classic. All right. Let me see. We have about 25 more minutes on this broadcast. This is going to be one of the most historical broadcasts on the Piece of the Morning show. I hope it charts. I hope it reaches 10 million people. And the reason being is because we are going to break it down. Now, the reason why I said going to church, right, is because, Dr. Paul, I'm going to have to stop you in the midst of it so we can, meditate a little bit on what you just said. And then, because otherwise it'll just go. So here it is. You just said that if we only if you only focus on what you like to hear and what you're comfortable with hearing, it will present a negative charge. That means if we stay status quo, if we stay comfortable, if we only stay in our comfort zone, then it does not produce a positive charge. So what does create? Give me some other examples of people staying in their zone, Dr. Paul.
Well, let's go with parties or affiliates. Let's go with something as simple as sports, right? My favorite team. No one can ever tell you about how bad your team is without you feeling like you have to defend it. That's a negative charge. If you feel like you have to defend something, that's a negative charge. No, I'm not talking about trying to defend it. I'm talking about the feeling of wanting to defend it. Like you feel offended when someone says something, that's you creating a negative charge. Me telling you something, whether you get a positive or negative, has more to do with how you are in receiving it more than what I'm saying. So those are just simple.
So now, what creates a positive charge?
Great.
So that's a remember here on the Piece of the Morning Show, we are asset-based communicators. Asset meaning we focus on the strengths, right?
Right.
And not the deficits. And so we're going to talk about the power of that, Dr. Paul, because I believe, Dr. Paul, you are the ingredient that we've been waiting for to finally build out the intellectual capacity of Be Bold for Good. But Dr. Paul, you talked about football and feel the need to defend, right? And so the negative charge. So imagine what does it look like in the atmosphere, right? So let's step off the planet Earth. All right, we're gonna go up to the moon right now. Let's take a little
Mm-hmm.
trip. Give me some moon music, something. Take me to the moon, Five. So as Five pulls that up, we're gonna take a little trip to the moon. And the reason why we're gonna take a little trip to the moon is because we're gonna get up on top of the moon and we're gonna look down at a football stadium with 100,000 people, or let's go bigger. In the world, football is soccer, and so you
Right.
have internationally, that's the biggest sport in the world is football, but it's not American football again. Uh, it's soccer, right, as we know it. But all of that negative charge is taking place because people feel the need to
Mm-hmm.
defend their teams. So now in that one big bowl, you have all of that negative energy. What does that look like, Dr. Paul? Does that when that negative energy comes together in either a physical form, a virtual form, but it's still connected? What does it look like anything? Does that have any impact versus just a singular negative charge?
Well, it does, right? So we do know, and this is scientific proven. So if people can just do their own research, and I hope they do. If you have what you call prayer circles, meditation circles, we can what you call move the meter, right? There's a Earth hemostat meter that actually has what you call it's the resonant frequency. It actually moves when you have a power of collective people either praying together or meditating together. It also has a negative thing. The meter actually gets lower when there's a mob rules or where there's fights and there's fires, right? When I talk about earthquakes, we're talking about large amounts of negative charge people. The earth meter actually goes down. Now, when the earth meter goes down, that means cells stop moving. That means sickness is now starting to impede, is called impeding into the body. Now, that's when people get sick. When your cells and your genes stop moving, that's when cancer starts to grow within the body. That's impedial force. Um, Now, this is all plasma based because your body is also built on plasma and the stars. So the resonant frequency, if it goes down because of a negative charge, you're now the sickness or molds can start to grow. That's why molds grow on things not moving well, right? Because it feeds on it. But when you have a positive charge and you're raising the resonant frequency, things start to move. Movement is life. Remember, it's not so much we're not talking about dying and movement is life. Movement is the positive charge. So if you are not educating yourself and you're not asking the why, you become stagnant. That means in physics, and I'm looking at five stars thing, and this is blowing my mind. In physics, everything has motion. Motion moves with positive and negative charge. So there's a balance to it. It's not just one or the other, but it creates the balance. So I hope I explained that real well.
Hey, Five. So Five, go ahead and take that to another level as it applies to the work that you do with regard to teaching young people exactly that the power of energy, the power of the destabilizing factor of being status quo,
Mm.
the destabilizing factor of being stagnant, of keeping the same thought. So those people who don't want to eat different foods, for those people who are not open to even listening to other people's religious views or values, for those people who think that this is the only way. My mother ate meat, so I'm gonna eat meat. You
Right,
know,
right,
uh,
right.
my father did these things that killed him, so I'm going to go do same things that killed me. I mean, that could kill me. These stagnant thoughts, now I'm thinking about the music that is
Hmm.
providing negative charges, and so those negative charges are keeping us in a dummied state. So now, if you got music that's cussing everybody out, if you got music that's encourage you to pop pills, if you got music that's taking you on a whole drinking binge, then that music is literally creating. If I'm not mistaken, I just heard Dr. Paul say it's really like creating mold in the mind.
Mm-hmm.
I, Five, I asked you to jump in. So weigh in terms of what your connection with regard to being an electrical engineer and teaching young people the significance of vibration.
Well, sometimes being an engineer, they have you always 50,000 feet up because the goal of engineers is to create something to solve a problem. So let's start
Mm-hmm.
with facts. The facts of the matter is that doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. So let's start there, and let's like we talk about with the Be Bold for Good tour. We want to speak what we want to see in existence. That's why we say men and women for domestic peace, not domestic violence. We want to see. We want to speak. Words have power. We talked about this last week on the show of how you can speak things into existence and how you can say things in a way that adds value to the world as opposed to create that negative charge or take away from someone, cause that person to be on the defensive. So the way we develop the blend from the engineering background to the business background is really changing the mindset of students by increasing their creative thinking. Our hypothesis is if we increase their creative thinking, it will increase their academic performance, it'll increase their attendance rates, it'll increase maybe even graduation rates. And so increasing of academic performance may look like what we've designed as a company to showcase music from a mathematical point of view, showcase DJing from a mathematical point of view. So we have a product that teaches young people 5th grade through 9th grade math while learning how to DJ. Same concept as when your child is sick and you need to give that child some medicine and you put the medicine inside the applesauce so it tastes good coming down. The same formula to change our young students' mindset who are listening to music that is inappropriate. We can change their mindset by showcasing the educational pieces of the instrumentals. And so I pride myself on reaching out to artists to create Be More STEM songs, to talk to speak like this was the 70s. Now, I know I wasn't living in the 70s, but I've been DJing for 27 years, so I had to learn the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. In the 70s, that era right there was about love. You had Earth, Wind, and Fire, you had the party records, and you had disco, and you still had Motown still coming leading in from the 60s, and the music was a blend. You didn't have a bunch of music that was telling you to kill your brother. You didn't have a bunch of music that was telling you to become addicted to narcotics. And so in this world we live in, the music is creating that energy that you were talking about. And so what we try to do is, even when I'm mixing, I mix clean. Like I do weddings and corporate affairs and fundraisers and health fairs. So when I'm playing music at a wedding, the theme is love. So I can stay right in that bag of love. You'll hear some Earth, Wind, and Fire. You'll hear some Stevie Wonder. But you'll hear some new artists that also sing and talk about love. And so the intentional focus on what we're putting in our minds, what we're speaking, what we're thinking, and our actions all create those charges that Dr. Paul was talking about. And so I'm excited about what we are doing and how we're doing it, because we meet our young people where they are and then show them the right way, because there are exposure gaps. Once we expose them, we give them the power to make that choice to do right, as opposed to forcing them to do right, so they're now on the defensive and now want to rebel to do wrong. And so with that, that's my 2 cents.
Hey, 5 star, I want to add something that you said, and if I just may. The music that young black men or black men, and I want to specific, or people, mental health, if you're already in a depressed state, right? A depressed state. We're not talking about you.
I think we lost you, Doctor.
Yeah,
Did I cut out?
Yeah.
You
Just
back
for a
now?
moment. That's that positive energy that you're doing.
Hello?
That's all that is. That's that positive energy you spewing. It's just going.
We can hear you though. Somebody probably try to call you.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you
We
hear
can
us?
hear you.
Yeah, Dr. Paul's got his backup earbuds. Yeah, can you hear us now, Dr. Paul?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
We can hear you.
I can't hear you.
Oh,
I
okay.
lost you.
We can hear you. Go ahead,
I
Five.
think I
Crank it up
lost you guys in sound.
until I'm gonna work with Dr. Paul. You go ahead and crank it up. We're gonna let our good brothers check out one of our folks that support us, the Life magazine. Make sure you get a copy. When we come back, we're gonna crank it up with DJ Five Star and bring Dr. Paul back for you. Hey, stay
Hello?
tuned. Yeah, can you hear us, Dr. Paul?
Oh.
Yeah, we're gonna work that out. Yeah, we're gonna work it out. We're gonna work it out. Hey, Five, go ahead and crank it up. It's Funky Friday, baby. This is Darius A. Stanton on the Piece of the Morning Show with DJ Five Star. And we're gonna crank it up because boy, do we have a show for you. We have folk featuring Dr. Paul W. Dyer, Dyer. iHeartRadio. Just look him up. The brother's all over the place, and you want to stay tuned and ride with him because he is sharing something today that is taking us all to the next level. And then I got my electrical engineer brother to be able to come off of it with a whole nother splash. And then Darius A. Stanton at the dash. So come on, y'all. Hey, Five, go ahead, take it away while I bring our brother Dr. Paul back to the show.
This was my record to take us to the moon. I'm gonna mix it with mine.
What do we have to fight against nuclear war? What do we have? What do we have that we never had before? What do we have? What do we have to fight against atomic bombings? What do we have? What do we have? What kind of favors can we call in? What do we have? We have technology and we have forgery. We have things that destroy our homes and families. We've got the ability to put those weapons down. We got that kind of power if we move, if we act right now. World peace and harmony and unity is the plea for freedom. World peace and harmony and unity is the plea for freedom. Somebody help! Somebody help me want you. Somebody help me. Somebody help! Help us! Somebody help! Somebody help me need you. Somebody help me. Somebody What do we have to fight against world hunger and poverty? What do we have? That's why we're talking about love. Do we have that's very deep inside of you and me? What do we have? What do we have to fight against that global warming? What do we have? That's why we're talking about all blood. What do we have to stop that black hole from performing? What do we have? That's why we're talking about we have for freedom. Oh, that's why we somebody help. Somebody help, we want you. Somebody help, we need somebody
Hey, there we go. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. World peace. Hey, when you pushing positivity, you pushing love and you energy into the atmosphere. Peace and love has power. And ladies and gentlemen, back to the show, forward with the show, the atomic man himself. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to call him the atomic bomb because the brother just dropped the bomb on the what crew. Hey, Dr. Paul, boy, the universe was like, we got to give him a supercharge.
So sorry about that. But
hey, Dr. Paul, let me just share something with you, brother.
Yeah.
Based on what you just taught me, if I say sorry, then that means I'm really like being stagnant with a negative charge, right?
Correct.
So I really want to say that, you want to just say apologize because you're not sorry.
Cool.
There you go. Because that has much more positive energy attached to it. As a matter of fact, I learned the other day, instead of saying that, just say, thank you for staying with me. How about that?
Yeah.
No apology needed. No
Right.
sorry. Just thank you for staying with me. You're holding yourself accountable. I need you to stay with me, and I'm thanking you for being so gracious to do so. Right. All right, let's keep it rolling. So back with Dr. Paul, or moving forward with Dr. Paul W. Dyer. I put his iHeartRadio, just one of the places you can find him, so you can find him online. Please follow him. Please support him, promote him. And if nothing else, as I said, share this show around the world because, ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a treat. And we only have about not much more time to go. So we're going to have to bring Paul. Is Dr. Paul coming back 5?
That is emphatically Y equals S.
He had to mix that for y'all. He had to mix the YES. Did you see him mixing Dr. Paul with the mouth?
Yeah, I did.
So go ahead, Dr. Paul. Now, you were about to say.
So mental health, right? When you're in a depressed state, and it has nothing to do with being sad or whatever. Music that you're listening to lowers your frequency for you to get sick or to become sicker emotionally and physically, right?
Wow.
So all the stuff that 5 Star was talking about with the music resonating with creativity, it actually decreases the colostrum, which is the hemispheres that connects both sides of your brain. So now you don't even have what you call connection to the higher level of higher power just by the music you're listening to.
Wow.
If anything that's negative in the music you're listening to creates a negative charge in the body, which your cells, remember, are vibrating, which now decreases the chemical flow that you want to have to live and not survive. So that means the older part of your brain starts to function because it now has to work into survival mode, which is freeze, flight, fight, right? So those modes do not have any reasoning skills whatsoever. Just think about the state it puts you in. It's amazing. Just by the music.
Dr. Paul, so people ask the question, you just solved something that I'm sure that the state legislature right now that's in session here in the state of Maryland is dealing with in one of those committees somewhere. The governor is fighting about it. The mayor in Baltimore has come up with $50 million for productive, positive programming instead of $50 million to increase police presence and lock up more people. There are a lot of people asking the question, why are our children killing ourselves?
Hmm?
And so now, when you think about what you just said in terms of the music and the cerebral and the ability to connect the left brain to the right brain, and the inability to now do that, which means that you limit yourself and now you're only in a survival mode. And so Dr. Paul, let's walk that back a little bit. Like I told you, we're in church now, so I'm gonna just keep having to read your Bible, okay? Well, I don't want to say Bible because I don't want nobody to get mad at me. But 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 the brother's he's his own piece of work, right? Because he's done the research. So, Dr. Paul, tell us again what happens as we're listening to and we're promoting and playing these negative songs that are telling us to shoot each other, beat each other, and kill each other. How that and then here's the thing: we think that we're enjoying ourselves.
Right.
On the outside, the external looks like, oh, I'm partying, I'm drinking. And in our minds, we're even telling ourselves, this is lit. This is what's going, this is hot. Listen to this song. This is my jam. We pushing it, we're promoting it. And on the external, we're at the club, we drinking, we doing all of this stuff, right? And at the reality of it is, we're literally killing ourselves.
Yep.
While we think we're enjoying ourselves. Am I right? Did I decipher that properly?
You're spot on. You're spot on. You're spot on.
So if that's happening in a multitude of places, then it's no wonder why our communities are at war with each other at the level, and nobody else is at war because nobody else is practicing at the magnitude that we are. So Dr. Paul, let me ask this question. If we created 5 or 10 record companies in the United States of America, this is a hypothesis, okay, an educated guess. If we put 10 record companies together and we funded them all, let's say a low number, $50 million. And we went out and we found white artists and we paid those white artists to play music and create lyrics that talked about killing each other, shooting each other, taking pills, disrespecting women, all of those things. If we created that and they started playing that, would you start to see the same? Is it safe to say that you would start to see some of the similar behaviors that you're seeing right now in predominantly Black and urban communities that are listening and promoting and playing this music 24/7, 365?
So the answer is yes.
Let me answer that. If the situation is intentional.
Correct.
It's intentional because right now the record companies are the same owners of private prisons.
Correct.
So if I hire people to influence a culture that I want to get rid of, and I know I can make money by them going to prison because I own the prison company.
Correct.
Here's why you see so many $1 million rappers or $1 million artists that don't add value to the community.
Wait a minute. Add food. Add the companies who are in bed with the prison companies are also the same people that are making this sloppy food.
Wow. That's a valid point. The food in the prison and the food that really makes you unhealthy enough to want to be in survival mode to go out and do a crime.
Right.
You on mute, Darius. You on mute.
Got all these new microphones. Run that back, Dr. Paul. The food. Talk to us about the food in the prisons, and then talk to us about the food that we eat that dumbs us down.
Sometimes people got to remind me and say, everyone doesn't know what you know, and I apologize.
No.
Because what you eat is what you ingest in your body, It's what's going to transpose in your body. If you're going to eat the nasty negative charge foods, let's think of COVID. I've had COVID. Now, why am I out here in negative 20-degree weather? Because COVID has what you call mucus buildup, right? If you don't eat the proper foods to create oxygenated foods to where your blood is running smoothly, where your oxygen is now starting to move the carbon and move the hydrogen within your body so the cells can be nice. That's why I'm out here breathing oxygenated air. It was we are breathing so I can get that mucus out of my body and keep this healing within my body. Food does the same thing. If you're eating deoxygenated foods, dead things, right? That's going to slow down your frequency in how you raise it. The music, if you're listening to nasty music, it's going to lower your frequency. When you get into lower states of ohm states, which is the resonance of frequency or hertz, when your body goes to a level of lower certain hertz, your body starts to create sickness physically, also mentally. I mean, there's five-star put it right on the point, but that's how you connect them all.
So, okay. So now the food that we, and then you talked about alcohol.
Hmm.
Um, Help us to understand alcohol and how it is impacting the chemicals that are impacting us and what it's doing to the body as it applies to COVID. So for those who are still drinking during the COVID season, especially at a high rate, it's impacting their immune system.
Yep,
Um, but there's a reason why they call wine and spirits and
that's
alcohol.
true.
So
Right,
so 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 wine is at the lower end of that spectrum.
correct.
Red wine actually, there's scientific, tests that show that red wine is better for you than in some of the others. But just in terms of the cold hard alcohol, explain and then correlate that to because there's a direct correlation between um, liquor distributors, alcohol outlets in the black community and the
Yep.
inordinate amount. So you have this music, you have this food, and then you have alcohol. I call that a deadly cocktail. And so when people ask why is there so much happening in Baltimore City in terms of violence, because there's a
Look at
deadly
where the alcohol is.
alcohol,
Yep.
carryouts, it's food deserts, not a whole lot of fresh fruit in grocery stores. They even stopped the men who were riding around on a horse, or not stopped them, but limiting, watermelon, cantaloupe, uh,
Yeah, yeah,
strawberries, kale, spinach, collard greens, honeydew melon.
yeah, yeah.
So how does that alcohol impact um, that that picture as well, Dr. Paul?
So we know it affects the liver. We know that I told you earlier how it affects your frontal lobe, right? Your frontal lobe is what you call reasonable thinking skills. Is what you when you are thinking frontal lobe, you have what you call deductive reasoning. Like what is that? How is that? How can it be? What is all those great questions? Well, it limits that chemical space. Now, we also know that the older part of the what you call the animal brain, right? The lowest form of existence is in the amygdala, which is your freeze, flight, or fight brain. That's the survival mode. That's the lowest basis of form of thinking. If you're unable to have what you call deductive reasoning because you're drinking, if your frequency is low because of the music, if your body is sick because of the food you're eating, you stay in survival mode. That means you see no way out. Remember, it's like trying to move around in a dark in a space with all the lights out and you're trying to find the exit. You're not going to have that ability to do so. Not because you're not capable, you're just not going to have the ability. There's a difference between capable and an ability. Capable is having the opportunity. The ability is having the option to be able to do it. So you're hurting yourself.
So now that explains why alcohol is between 40 and 60% involved in homicides,
Mm.
domestic violence, and sexual assaults.
Mhm.
Because when you are intoxicated,
Yeah.
you lose the ability to make rational decisions.
Yes.
And so you then take on that irrational behavior
Mhm.
that you can come out of and realize, oh my God, I did that.
Yeah.
And then because it's addictive, you continue to replicate that behavior.
Yeah. And then we're not even going to talk about. We can get more into this because once you do something and it triggers what you call the pleasure center part of your brain, it actually drives you to do it again.
That's my addiction to golf right there. It when you hit the ball and it affects the serotonin in your brain.
Yeah.
That's what keeps me going right there. You just named it.
Hey,
So whoop, 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 whoop.
I'm a 12 handicap, by the way.
Say it again.
I'm a 12 handicap, by the way.
Oh, I need to get with you.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
still a
come on,
30 something.
we're going to play right now. I just learned something. Hey doc, so Dr. Butler taught us that. So that Dr. Butler taught, that's what made us like even start to, I used to only play golf for the purpose of raising money for golf tournaments. I'm a basketball guy, so I get out on the golf course. I was bored. About 9 holes. I do okay. I throw some in the woods, but I could contribute to a team, right? Because I'm an athlete, so I keep it up.
Right.
But when
Right.
Dr. Eugene Butler, taught me the value of playing and being successful and challenging myself to continue to do well in golf, that it releases the serotonin, which is healthy
Mhm.
for the brain and for
Yeah.
the body.
Yeah.
So get into that a little bit more, Dr. Paul, because I want to start to offer as we start to wrap. We have 56 minutes on the show, so I think we probably end up going maybe 10 minutes over if you'll indulge us. But I want people to now get to the solutions of mental health. Like, what can we do to increase our mental health and feeling good about ourselves and continue to grow and learn?
Look at
Get
that.
out.
Look at that.
Get out of your own way and get outside. Breathe in life. You really have to breathe in life. And it seems that all around the world, everyone doesn't have green space. I get it. There's a
But
lot of
so
concrete.
okay, Doc, I'm gonna jump on in real quick. The reason why going outside, one of the reasons why going outside and breathing life is so important is because what Dr. Dyer taught us today is that stagnation kills, it
Hmm.
causes mold, it breeds negative charges.
Mm.
But energy, movement, change, meaning reading more, challenging your thought, going outside of your box, not just staying with what you know and being comfortable with it, which is why it's important to read and not just watch a whole bunch of garbage on television. But when you go outside, it's ever changing.
It's ever changing.
And
It's
so
so
that ever
it,
change is good
yeah,
for the body, right?
yeah,
It
Wow.
just hit me like a ton of bricks. So
yeah.
continue, Doc.
It is
Solutions for
because
mental health.
when you walk and you slow down, not just walk. I mean, if you get out, great. So there's levels to walking, but when you slow your process down and stop thinking about going from A to B and just be, right? Be a part, be among, be within, be. That's what being is to be in all of it, to be connected to all things living. This is all things living and growing and moving, and it's teaching us. It's a balance. So when you're walking and you're breathing and you're being in, you become the being of all things around you and all part of all things universal and all things of glory. That's what that's what breathing and being in is, right? So that's what we are called sentient beings. We are the sentient. If the only way to become a sentient being is to be a part of all things, and now you have to be a part of all things means you have to let it resonate, let it soak in. I'm gonna look at that beautiful sun peeking in over here, over my shoulder. Let you guys see that. Be a part of that sun. Oh my goodness, the sun, the Almighty Sun, right? Do you
Mm.
guys know what Ra means? The sun, the light. The healing. Oh, forget it. We're going into a whole different world right now.
Hey. What kind of being was that? Did you say, Doc?
To being in,
No. You
to be
said
a scented being,
a
scented
sen-
being,
spell it for us.
sentient, SEINT, scented being.
Scented
It's a,
beings.
yeah. It means to be a part of. It means to be
Right.
whole within. Yeah.
Priscilla Liska Monroe is out there. Her and David Grogan, they're lighting the chat up. Just really look that up for us, Priscilla, please, and put that in the chat so we can make sure that people are getting a puff off of that. All right. This is the Funky Friday, the Piece of the Morning show. We're going to wrap it up. But what I want to, we're going to have you back on, Dr. Paul. Remember, as I said, please, put a whole lot of hearts up, put a whole lot of likes, a whole lot of laughs, a whole lot of smiles, put a crowd, put whatever you want, but just put something up because we want that energy to go and that energy to flow. And we also want you to share this show because this is going to be so good for people's mental health and help them to understand why it's important to continue to learn. It just motivated me so much. Dr. Paul, if Dr. King was alive today,
Oh, he would be very sad. I
you know,
know.
I think about, remember when Dr. King was alive, he was completely, uncategorically against the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
And the majority of the other black leaders across the board, the Southern Baptist Leadership Conference, I mean, you name it, they came out and they were like against him going against the war. I think, even Malcolm got chastised for talking about the war, going against
But
the war,
but
and so
Malcolm knew why the war was. Remember, people got to do the history of Ho Chi Minh. You remember they were kicking the French out, right? So he needed help to learn how to kick the French out of Vietnam. So he asked for help, and people didn't want to help him. And so Russia said, "We'll help you." So that's why he went to Russia because Russia says, "Oh, we'll help you kick the French out," because they were tired of being killed by the French. They were slaves to the French. But then when he came back to Vietnam, the United States was like, "Well, wait a minute. Well, you were able to go to Russia? Can?" And so that information of the CIA going in into talking with him in 51. Remember, people, you have to know their history. We was then supplying arms to Ho Chi Minh. That's what Martin Luther King knew. He was like, "You're supplying them when they used to be slaves. Now you want them to be slaves for us." That's what he was upset about.
mm.
Know the history.
so coming into 2022 and knowing that we are now divided at a whole nother level because of what's transpiring with regard to our health. Dr. King could not be pleased with the music we talked about that's encouraging the number one shows in our community are shows that have been, that were in the last 2 years, was Empire, uh, the 50 Cent show Power, um, uh, Love and Hip Hop,
Mhm.
all of these shows that were, negative energy, negative charges that millions and millions of people watched and fed off of. And then this is the thing. People like, oh, it's okay because people getting paid. It's just entertainment. And I can't think that Dr. King would be pleased with that. I can't
It's
think that
emotional slavery.
Mm.
emotional slavery.
Oof.
Yeah.
What is that, Dr. Paul?
When you can keep people in an emotional state of negative, that keeps them encaged and enslaved because they don't know
We lost you, Doc.
state because of the state. It's like free range slaves.
Mm, powerful.
I think I lost you again.
I hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. Emotional slavery.
Whew.
Wow.
I lost you again.
Yeah, can you hear us now?
I'll see you guys later.
Dr. Paul dropped that emotional slavery bomb on us and rolled out there.
And rolled out. Boom.
Yo, man. Hey, man.
What a show, man. Last 2 weeks been crushing, man. Mm.
Oh, man. Hey,
Way to
listen.
kick off 2022.
If you just joined us, thanks so much for being a part of the Funky Friday Peace in the Morning show. What are you going to do with your mental health in 2022? We had Dr. Paul W. Dyer on, and when we called him the atomic bomb, and the atomic because of the fact that the brother brought so much energy. You want to watch this show. You will learn something. And if you don't learn it, it's something that you know other people that you know that most other people don't.
Mm-hmm.
Because we talked about the negative charges that come from thinking negatively, from using negative energy, and also basically how being lazy is negative energy because you're being stagnant, by not reading, by not challenging yourself, by not questioning yourself. And we also learned that, you know, this practice that we participate in, I know everybody, there's so many practices that we have in our society that are harming us that we think are the greatest things since sliced bread.
Mm.
That was powerful in itself. And the two
Right.
examples were the huge differences, right? So being at a club, I just use a club, but just any environment. It could be in your living room, it could be on a street corner, it could be in your car. But listening to music that is condescending, that is disrespectful, that is a lot of energy around negativity, encouraging us to kill ourselves, encourage us to disrespect women, encourage us to drink and eat and do things that are poor for our health. It's killing us, but we love it. Like we jam into it. That's my song. We're reciting it. We know all the words. We dance into it. We on TikTok calling each other bees. We don't understand the difference between nigger and niggas, right? So we don't understand the significance between the two. We're not calling each other gods instead of, which is where niggas really comes from, Negus, but we're calling each other nigger, which is translated here as a ignorant person, and we've adopted that, not educating us on the why. But then the
Mm.
same thing he explained with when we're like obsessively fighting against a thought like a team. So if I get, offended by the fact that you like a football team and I like another football team, that's creating a negative charge and it's not healthy for us. But we're taught to love the gladiator sport. We take our children out there to it. We ingrain it and teach our children. So it's really breeding a host of negativity. I mean, it went on and on. I don't want to regurgitate any more of what Dr. Paul put out there. I want Dr. Paul to be seen and give the credit for what
Mm-hmm.
he should get credit for. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been. I'm just so grateful that we were consistent. Thank you, DJ Five Star, for being my partner, brother. Thank you for all the people who watch the show. Because had we not been consistent, had we not decided that we're gonna get up and have a third show in the month of January, a Piece in the Morning, Funky Friday, with DJ Five Star, the electrical engineer, the president of the Greater Baltimore Black Chamber of Commerce. I could go on and on with his, accolades. Had we not been consistent and showed up, you would not have heard from Dr. Paul W. Dyer.
Powerful.
So, hey, it's Funky Friday. We got to get up out of here. Uh, Five, go ahead, crank it up. We could just get a little bit. I'm gonna leave us with. I'm gonna get a video prep for us to roll out of the Eye of Freedom. Go make sure you buy that Eye of Freedom. Support the Peace in the Morning show. Share this show. Get it out there because we need to push positive news. And we definitely got to be bold
for good world tour.
That's right. Get ready for it. Get ready for it so you can get a puff off of that.
T-S-T-E-M in your life now sing. S to the T to the E to the M, y'all. S to the T to the E to the M, y'all.
One time for Be More Lil Keith.
T to the
Made me an educational song as you hear. He is talking about
science, technology, engineering, math. Science, technology.
the second verse.
You know you can achieve what you want, this is true. If you ever doubt this, remember we have proof. Barack Obama, our first black president. Motivation in itself, see what this is relevant. And your life choices are there to be made. Investigate and educate, lives could be saved. So you like makeup, you should love chemistry. Learn how science affects the camera's imagery. Time to step out the box and show that you're restored. Take pride in becoming everything that you are. Come out of the dark and into the light. High level research that sounds about right. The STEM movement has taken flight. Come see for yourself if you don't believe the hype. If you ever had a dream and you still believe, S-T-E-M in your life, please sing. S to the T to the E to the M, y'all. S to the T to the E to the M, y'all. S to the
Sometimes there's a message in the music. Got education, self-esteem. La Hadia. What's up, sis? Be in star with your tune player. In tune with your star player, that is. Love yourself.
He's my empty gift from above. I wrote this song just to say that we're in love, and it don't matter what the people say. No, we gon' be together anyway. Don't need nobody here to validate.
Hey, that's that La Hadia.
That I was meant for him.
Hey, that love song. Nothing wrong with it. Like Paul told you why it's so important to check out the music of the 70s. All right, hey, I put the YouTube channel in the link. So you can, the YouTube link, so you can go check us out on YouTube, The Peace in the Morning Show with Dyer. Say Stanton. Make sure you share it. Hey, we got an echo, but we ain't mad at it. We're going to get on up out of here. Hey, the show was fire. Make sure you share it. Hey, Five, brother, love you so much. We're going to keep on rolling. The Peace in the Morning Show. Dr. Paul W. Dyer. We started off with this. Remember.
She always rides with the top down, even when it's cold outside.
What are you going to do in 2022? What are you going to do with your mental health in 2022? That's the question. What are you going to do with your mental health in 2022?
Cause I know she done came a long way. She don't want drinks no more. Bring no love to the table. Ooh, you know that your bank account big. Come back on a weekend, baby.
All right, Five, we'll get on up out of here. This is Darius Say Stanton, DJ 5-Star, saying peace in the morning.
I just want you to be great. I just want you to